What's going on, guys? It's your boy Player X,
Alongside the Galone Wolf.
and we are Semi-Limited Podcast. Tonight, we are joined by our guests from sister podcast or brother podcast, Heart of the Podcast. So, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, so I'm George. Been playing for a couple of years now. I am 1/4 of Heart of the Podcast, and yeah, I'm happy to be here with you guys.
Glad to have you.
I'm very glad to have him. I've actually had the experience of meeting George in person a couple times, and he's a great player, great duelist, great friend. So,
Is it because I washed up Sprite with Mathmex that night?
no, it's not. Is you literally had one game that you got me in. All right, let's chill out there. But before we get into today's episode, which is just going to be a short one, we like to give our shout outs. So we're going to give shout outs to Unplugged Gaming in Banlist, New York.
Woo!
If you have any card games that you like to play, any TCGs, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic, the new One Piece, they are accepting of all players and all different types of styles. So
Don't discriminate. So
they do not discriminate.
that's important in 2023.
Very important. So be sure to stop on by to Unplugged Gaming. We also, like I said, just want to shout out to Heart of the Podcast. You can catch them on most of the social platforms for podcasts. And George, you want to plug yourself in real quick?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're on Instagram at Heart of the Podcast. We just started uploading our stuff on YouTube. You can find us there also at Heart of the Podcast. We're on Spotify and Apple Music as well as Anchor. Same thing, Heart of the Podcast. Real quick, I just want to shout out my fellow co-host Mel, my twin brother, Joseph, of course, and Zenata.
I love Mel.
I have a feeling I would like Mel.
Yeah, you would like Mel because I'm brother.
And to add to that, 3 out of 4 of them don't discriminate. You gotta listen to find out which one does. So
You know, it's funny because if they do listen, they'll find out which one does really quick. Yeah, so shout out to Mel. Love you, brother.
I told you, Mel, I'd be the first one on the podcast.
yeah, Mel, you bum.
All right, so today's episode, we're just having a brief discussion about ban list predictions from all three of us. These are not wish lists. These are not ban list wish lists. These are just things that we're going to be talking about as far as what we think should help the game or shake up the game in some people's opinions. But I say I wanted to help the game. We're just going to each talk about our picks. We're going to go over what should be banned, what should be limited, what should be semi-limited, what should be unlimited. So briefly, we're all going to go talk about cards that we all think should be banned, and then we're going to hear everyone give 3 picks, and then the other panelists will give their thoughts on whether that those are good calls or bad calls, because most of them I can probably guess that most of these are going to be bad calls.
Mine is a terrible call. I am not even kidding.
Okay, so let's start with Dylan, because you say yours are terrible.
Mine are so hot, it's garbage.
So first 3 banned cards. We're only going to 3, and this could be banned as far as, well, obviously these are coming from any amount to 0. But you give us 3 banned cards, and we will talk about it afterwards.
First off, we'll start with Macrocosmos. So first off, this piece of shit card needs to be banned because there's too much no graveyard right now in the meta, and that's not fair to rogue decks. It's not fair to my love tier. And then we go to Destrudo, the Lost Dragons. I think it should be banned because of a few things I have coming off of my list to, equal out synchro support. And then the third one, it kills me to say, is Havness, because that would just make tiers
One of those tier bitches, one of them.
Yeah, just one. Don't you fucking dare touch anything else.
Quick question before we let George give his input. Why Havness and not any of the other names? What makes Havness so important?
You could play on your opponent's turn. I think that's a big tier element. They have a few cards that let you play too much on your opponent's turn. I think that would equal it out a little bit.
Okay, I can agree to certain extents with that. I have a different name in that discussion, but
My deck's name out your fucking mouth.
Devon said Havness needed to go, and Brendan said Sheeran needed to go. But I agree.
I'm not listening to someone that doesn't play.
I disagree with Macrocosmos being banned. I feel as though it's perfectly fine at 3. It's a very slow card, and you have to set it, pray and hope that nothing happens to it, and then flip it. So I don't agree with macro. I do agree with one of the names. If Happiness is yours, and that's fair. And I don't see what Destrudo did. But even I just don't see what Destrudo did.
Well, you just wait till later in my list. Okay.
I guess so. George, how do you feel about those three?
Okay, so 100% agree with Havness. I went to YCS Niagara and was my first interaction with that card, and I said, "This has to go. This has to go." So Havness, 100% agree with you. Macrocosmos, I gotta agree with X. It's slow. It's slow. It's a slow card. I don't think that it needs to go anywhere.
If anything, I would agree with Di-Fi going to 0 before macro.
Right. Exactly. That's exactly what I was gonna say. That's quicker. It almost does the same thing, and yeah, just sure. I don't know what it did wrong, but I mean,
How about you, George? What are your band hits?
oof. So
These are going to be wild takes. I'm not going to agree with any of these, I guarantee.
yeah. So I'm a Flunderees player. I had only came after my math mechs were power crept. So I was like, you know what? I want to win. So with that being said, barrier statue needs to be big because of Kashtira. Not because of birds, but because of Kashtira. This is my second card on the list. Havness has to go. Hate that card. Hate that it's like, oh, activate anything. All right, here, take this. Dumb. I think it's a stupid card effect. I feel like I don't know why Konami decided they thought it was a good card. Stupid. And then the tier elements field spell
Oh god.
also has to get gone.
All right, Dylan. What do you feel about those, Dylan?
That's. I wouldn't say ban the field spell. I'd say limited at best. I didn't have it on my list because I love the deck, so I don't want it to be hit at all just for consistency.
Fuck Planet Perlerino.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's definitely bannable. Do I want to see it banned? No.
It's too strong.
I agree with barrier statue. Just a stupid card too. If you have something that can ban stuff and stop you from special summoning. And you already know I agree with Avnus. I think it's too strong.
All right, so I also have on my list, so I guess I agree with the barrier statue. Not because of Flunder, but because, like George had mentioned, other decks outside of Flunder are now adapting this barrier statue as a means to stun and lock other people out of the game. And that can get a little bit toxic the same way that Sky Striker was being used, just splashable in other engines and stuff. So I can agree with the barrier statue being, I had it on my list. I also have the field spell and or one of the tier names being banned. I don't care which one it is, but Perlerino searching anything and a free pop on your turn and my turn is way too much. Can't have that. We had an argument at our locals about which tier name, if you could ban, would you ban and why? I am a big advocate for Merrily because Merrily, in my eyes, branches you into other engines and archetypes, such as the Sprite engine, which Merrily is the only reason why you play Elf or Sprin, with the exception being Diviner of the Herald. But I do understand that Havness is playing on either player's turn, especially turn 0. And even when the deck was first conspired, it was making Winda turn 0, which I thought was kind of disgusting. And also, I understand Brendan's point of view as far as Sheeran, because it is not only a pitch outlet from the hand, but a mill 3 as well and an extender. So it's a 4 that doesn't commit you to a normal summon. It pitches a card from the hand, so you can send any tier card, and then you mill 3, hoping to mill some Ishizu cards. So like it does do a lot. So I can understand any point of view, but in that same aspect, one of them got to go. I don't care which one, but one of them has to go and stay off. Thoughts?
No, I can agree with everything. You brought up some valid points.
Yeah. You explained it pretty well.
It's because I'm God and I know what I'm talking about. But moving on, we have the limited list. So this limited list will be cards either going to 1 from 2 or 3, or coming off from banned to 1.
All right, X, good point. I should start. So first on my list, I have Denlong, first of the Yang Zing. Super hot takes here. I just want to see synchro support. I like how Sword Soul's been topping, or getting tops rather, in the past couple YCSs. Just give him more support. It'd be sweet. I'd like to see Masterpiece back at 1 at least, just to get some variety splashing in there. Masterpiece at 1 would be cool to me. Not just because I have a couple stashed away and want to sell them, but my final one is Verte Anaconda,
Wild.
the King's Return. I would love to see it back. I know that it means certain cards will be played in every deck, but I love this card.
I can agree with Predaplant versus Anaconda, but only because that's the Cyber Dragon in me talking. Like, I know it's bad game mechanics, and I know it's
It helps so many rogue decks too. I know.
it does. Well, not even that. It's just Cyber Dragons needed to send Overload Fusion, and now we can't send it. So now we don't even play it anymore, which is just heartbreaking. So just give us Predaplant just the one, but just in Cyber Dragons. That's it. I agree with that.
Perfect.
I don't agree with Masterpiece. I should just say that now because I don't want everyone also thinking that I'm okay with that. I don't agree with Masterpiece.
What about the Danglong?
I was never around for Danglong. Honestly, I couldn't even tell you what it does. Unleash that nigga. He fine.
Oh jeez.
So I same thing with you, X. I have no idea what Danglong. I don't even know what the artwork on the card looks like, so I have no opinion.
I do because we call someone in our locals Danglong.
Oh, so I mean, I don't think I want to know why.
I don't think you want to know why either.
Masterpiece. I seen the artwork. Beautiful artwork. I know what it does. A little toxic, but I'm also very toxic. So I mean, I can see it coming back. I actually wouldn't mind it coming back.
You're bugging. Both of you bugging.
Predaplant. Here's the thing for me with Predaplant. I felt like I always had it in every rogue deck that I played. I had it in the extra deck. Never used it, but it's good to have it there. You know what I mean? So yeah, I could come back to one, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so too.
Neither one of you know how to fucking think. So
You don't say that.
now we have George's picks. So George, tell us what madness you think should be coming to one. I think these are all going to be original ideas.
These are I think these are not only original, but they're valid.
We'll discuss that.
Number 1, Mystic Mine. Don't laugh. Don't laugh.
We protested so hard.
Don't laugh. You only laugh because you don't understand.
I don't understand. All right, okay, explain.
Wait. Let me go through. Let me go through my list, and then
I thought this was going to be a short episode.
no. I preached the word of Mystic Mine. Number 2, some more. The Link. Bird of Sovereign.
Bird of Sovereign. Yep.
The third one would be Imperial Order.
You're bugging, guy. You're fucking bugging.
Yeah, that's a crazy card.
Did you smoke before you came on? I'm smoking now, but did you smoke before you came on? Because I need some of that.
Listen to the logic, right? There's necessary evil to this game. Mystic Mine at 1 will help all rogue decks play.
Bro, what are you talking about? It's
okay. Mystic Mine at 1. Hear me out. Nobody can abuse that card at 1 because nobody's gonna put a 1 brick card in their deck. If you're playing anything over like tier 2, can we agree on that?
I can't agree with that.
Yeah,
that's why I'm quiet.
That'll be in a deck. That'll be in a deck with terraforming or metaverse. Actually,
I was just about to say they were playing it at 1 with terraforming because it was just something to fall back on. You were playing 3 copies and decide if you were playing 3 copies of that card at all. But it started at 1. People were just playing 1 copy with the terraforming.
Starts with one thing.
I just don't think there's any for current decks. I don't think there's any space.
But all right, but think of it this way. All right, so the reason why I'm fine with Mystic Mine being gone and staying banned is because of the fact that it brings a different kind of thinking to deck building. Now people have to play, I was okay with playing the out for mine. Don't get me wrong. I was one of the advocates there. It's a card in the game. It's a card in the card pool. You just need to have the out for it in the deck somewhere. Exactly. Draw the out. I'm a big advocate for it. So don't get me wrong. But I do agree with some of the people's mindsets or viewpoints that it made you deck build differently because you just had to incorporate this one sacky card that may or may not be seen that could change the whole swing and tempo of the game.
Okay, so what's the difference between? I mean, yes, I'm not saying like what's the difference in like card effects because I know the card effect difference, but what's the difference between siding in a Mystic Mine and siding in a Necro Valley versus tier?
They can activate effects. They
What do
can
you mean?
attack. They
You
can
can't
they can
activate a
still
bunch of
activate them, and
Graveyard.
whether they're negated or not, they can still activate. I
right.
can't activate shit under Mystic Mine. No
Right.
hand traps, bro. I can't activate hand traps. I can't activate fucking field effects.
You're
Yo,
limiting your opponent to what they can do. Yes,
you're
to your-
dramatically
to-
limiting what.
to your point. Yes, to your point, Mystic Mind completely stops them. But what's to say? Like for me, Zombie World against Flu,
Okay,
that dramatically stops me from doing what I want to do. Right,
I
unless
understand.
for the
Yeah, I
out.
get that, but that's a side deck card. No one's main decking Zombie World. They were main decking Mystic Mine.
I don't know. I still, regardless.
There were whole decks made around Mystic Mine.
Yes, I played one of those.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Did you play a whole deck based around Zombie World? I've done it. It was shit. I'm telling you. Doom King for Prez, but still.
Regardless, Mystic Mind should be limited to one.
No, that's fucking bullshit. Is just like the Imperial Order it being one. This man is just saying no more mechanics. Mystic Mind's just gonna shut off all the monsters. Imperial Order's gonna shut off all the spells. Y'all niggas already got Royal Decree. Shut off all the traps. That's it. Monkey flip here, bro. We out.
Nah.
George is wild, man.
George out. It's a necessary evil for the game.
Yo, tell me you're an Eldritch player without telling me you're an Eldritch player.
Eldritch. I play Secret Rare, by the way. So, just so you know.
All right. I'm just gonna skip by all that bullshit.
That's a horrible concept. Evil.
I think Mystic Mind to 1 is good. I think Imperial Order should come back. I think
You're
that
bugging.
it's
You're high.
a necessary evil.
We got the wrong person from their podcast to come on.
Oof. Hurts.
We got the wrong one. We got the one that thinks Mystic Mine and IO should come back.
I'm staying out of this one.
I'm just saying, this man really wants no one to play the game, and then says some more can come back to bring back. That's the only one I agree with. Some more, if we ban barrier, some more can come back.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
But Mystic Mine cannot come back for deck building purposes, and IO cannot come back because I don't want all the same thing for deck building purposes. I don't want to have to play all quick play spells because if I don't quick play to the IO activation, I just lose. That just makes no sense.
With with so many cards like having costs and you have to pay this, have to pay that, like your opponent can lose to IO also. Just say
no. IO has won more games than lost. That's statistically proven.
Oh, of course, but I'm saying it's a possibility.
Lots of things are possibilities. I can open Exodia in my opening hand possibility.
No, I don't think that's
why
happen.
It's a possible. It's
possible
to happen.
What's more probable though?
I mean, yeah, I guess what's more probable? You seeing a 3 of and a 40, or me seeing 5 of a 40? You seeing the 3 of. So now going back to reality, on some real cards that should come back to 1, I have Thunder Dragon Colossus. I think we can test the waters with Thunder Dragons. Colossus has a couple outs now. I don't really care about it. My spicy one of to come back would be Halky, because release the OG, triple OG. He ain't do nothing bad. I just want my zombies to play again. He didn't do nothing wrong. All he was doing was bringing a level 3 tuner out the deck, bro. That's it. And it couldn't even activate its effects. No big deal. And then also I have Sprite Blue getting hit to 1, because I think that if we're going to be hitting tier, we need to also hit the other decks around it, which means I think I thought about it long and thought that Sprite Blue was the most consistent card to get you like, all right, if I see blue, I'm doing the most. So I think that was at least a fair hit. What do you guys think?
I think that I think you're an idiot for saying Hulk should come back. Hulk does not deserve to come back.
I just want Hulk to come back. I don't think it should. I just want it to.
I don't like Hulk back. I think it's where it should be right now.
I think he wasn't around for long enough. Maybe they errata him and get rid of that tag out shit. But just bringing a level 3 out the deck, that's not that bad.
The tag out shit is insane.
That's what really got it banned, I think, was just the scythe locking. Like, I can understand that. I get scythe lock into a Baron is strong as fuck, regardless of what you're doing. So I can understand that. When it gets abused, it's a different story. But I just want my zombies to do good. But moving on, we have cards that are going to 2. So either from 0 or 1 going to 2, or semi-limits, pun intended, of cards that are at 3 that just need to get slapped on the wrist because they're doing no-nos but don't deserve big hits.
I want tunes to do good, but it'll never happen.
You're fucking bugging. Oh my god, the wild-ass fucking picks we have today.
You're saying my picks are crazy.
I know, for real. I agree.
I think Ava should come back. Well, Orange Light's at 1 right now. Okay. 2 is Electromite. That might be a little wild having him at 2, but I'd like to see Pendulum decks come back. And then I have a meaningless hit, but just to make everyone happy, I have Kit to 2, even though that won't make people happy.
I know you don't mean Kit Kalos.
Oh, I do.
Dylan, I know you're not trying to tell me that Kit Kalos needs to go to 2.
Yep.
You're kicked off the podcast. I can't believe you. I can't believe you just said that. Bro, they don't even play 2 now.
I
They
like
don't,
it.
some
It's
of them aren't even
totally-
playing 2 next format.
Yeah, man.
What kind of nonsense ass hit is that?
It's a nice.
All right, Kalina Heart to 2, guys.
Exactly.
Kalina Heart to
Look at
2.
you.
There's your hit.
Exactly. You already hit. Listen,
I
you already
fucking hate
want
you.
the field spell gone and a name. All right.
I personally am fine with one or the other. If they don't ban the field spell, a name needs to go. If they hit the name, I don't care about the field spell.
That's fair. No, I was a little trolly pick. I'll admit it. I'm the first. There, I admitted it. Okay. I love the deck.
Yeah, Kikolos is trolly. All right, George, surprise us again with your semi-limits.
Actually, my semis, I don't think they're gonna be like very surprising. I think they're very fair. I would bring Danger Jackalope to 2, Miscellaneous and Pinkertops.
Yeah, I like your dino picks. Yeah, I like this. Jack the 2 seems fair too.
Pink isn't doing anything to nobody. Misk is also not doing anything. And I don't even understand why Jack was put to 1. So I think this is fair. Do you agree?
Surprisingly, I think I agree with all of these. I think I can agree that Jack can come back to 3. Jack could come back to 2. I think even Suchi could come back to 2 if we're really getting at it. I think Misk, the Dinos are about to get the new. They just got announced support, and so I can understand Misk coming off to entice people to play Dinos again. I'm a little bit on the fence, I guess, on the Pank, only because Pank was one of, if not the best side deck card to be played out of 2019. 3 Pank was something to do. I remember the list saying Pank was going to 1, and I was like, damn, that's crazy. It's going to alter our side decks like insanely because we were just so used to having Pank at 3. Now I can almost never imagine a time where Pank is at more than 1 because it's just such a strong card.
I feel that. That's how I feel like called by.
Yeah, but I think with Kashtira Fenrir, there we go.
Yeah, but Fenrir, although its summon isn't once per turn, its restriction on its summon kind of makes it so that you're only doing it on a clear field. You can always special summon Pankertops if your opponent has more monsters. Like special summon, special summon.
Yeah, but I think like Pink got power crab by Fenrir. In my opinion.
I don't think so. I think a quick effect pop is better than an on resolution banish.
But it targets though, doesn't it?
Yeah, so does Fenrir.
Oh, okay.
And Fenrir is in a new chain. You can't even quick effect to it.
Well, I still think a 2 is fine.
Do you agree with any of those, Dylan?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I like Miss back. I actually have Miss on my list, so I think that'd be sweet to come back, get Dino players back. I think the Dangers are good to come back. Because Curious is banned right now. That's a good part of that engine too. And those are my picks right now. I like the Dino support wave, so I agree with this.
All right, my going to 2 semi-limit hits are all nothing's coming off to 2 or up to 2. It's all going down to 2. Like I said, little hits to consistency within engines. I think that needs to get fine-tuned for next format. So with next format in mind, if we've already banned a tier name and or the field spell, then Sprite Starter again needs to go to 2 because that card is insane by itself. I feel as though Cashier Unicorn needs to go to 2 because by itself it's 1 card combo next format. So not to say we need people to stop playing the deck, but just to consistently not see it in the opening hand as much, you need to have to search for it. Meaning interaction will stop that deck more now than it did before. And I have Rita Aramis here going to 2 because I know not only will the Kashtira engine start attacking it in, but some of the Plunder Patrol players are now playing it with the super heavy samurais to fodder more resources and utilities and negates before they go into their plunder monsters.
I like this list. Right, getting put down is nice to hit the consistency there.
I feel as though Enchantress can't really get hit. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't do much. If anything, you're gonna hit what it's searching for, which is right. And you only realistically need one right in the deck because Enchantress can grab from deck or graveyard.
Exactly. And usually the deck, you don't need all three of those, like you said. I would like to see starter actually at 1 and then blue at 2. I
You think
don't know
swap
why.
them?
Yeah, I think I'd like to see them swapped. Starter is just such a great card. So is blue, don't get me wrong, but starter it's a quick play too, if I'm not mistaken, right?
See, the only reason I thought blue had to go to 1 over starter was that I'm thinking of the engine as a whole in mind, and now I'm thinking about Jet. Jet can search up to 4 different cards. Only 3 of them are playable, being Smashers, Double Cross, and Starter. Which means now if we're losing a starter, some people might play the Gamma Burst. That's kind of what my idea was, hitting starter to 2. But at the same point in time, I just feel as though starter's like the whole reason that the deck is good. So like if you're putting it to 1, you're really hitting a deck that is tier 1.5 at best.
1.5, yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? For no reason. We already lost Ronin. If we get starter to 1, then I want Ronin to 1. That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, that
I'll
is
take
fair.
that trade off all day long. But blue stays at 2.
I think you're I think the semis I actually don't have anything against it. Started at 2, right to 2, unicorn to 2. I have nothing.
That's 2 for 2 where everyone agrees with me because I'm perfect.
Nah.
I'm just saying.
I'm also only agreeing with it because my brother Mel plays right.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want Mel opening right every single game? Nah. You want to be able to Ash the Enchantress and know it's not a bait because they have right in hand. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
And then finally, before we end off, we have cards that are going unlimited. Cards that need to go to 3 because they either don't have any sense being at 1 or 2, or they're banned and you want them to go completely off because fuck it, why not? You guys tell us your thoughts right now for cards that should be unlimited.
I think Ib, the World Chalice synchro can be unlimited. The reason it's banned is gone. Give World Chalice back some power there. Second one I have is Mist to 3, actually, just to get that consistency up for dinos. And then I have Pot of Desires back to 3. It's a card where even if you draw it off its own effect, it's then dead until next turn, but you can only use one of them. And there's a lot of pot cards out there.
George, what do you think about those picks?
I don't know what the World Chalice thing does, so I have
World Chalice was a Synchro 5 monster that said add a World Chalice card when it's summoned. So you add Guard Dragon. I don't know if you know what that is.
Yes,
That's the continuous spell.
Yeah.
And then when it left the field, so when you activated Guard Dragon and linked it off, it searched you or specialed you a level 2 tuner from the deck.
Okay. Yeah, I guess
so it was a +2 by itself.
All right, yeah, I guess that can come off.
This guy's like +2? Yeah, it can come off. It's not doing nothing. What?
Yeah, I mean, I only because like World Chalice is like
but it's not that it's also I didn't mention it's a level 5 tuner synchro monster.
I think he's so valid.
You guys are bugging. You guys are on crack.
I think Misk though.
Misk to 3 will be just like how it was before, where I hated it because it just says I'm not doing
still
shit.
hate dinos to this day. I'm glad that the meteor hit the earth and dinos are dead.
Misk to 2, I understand that. Or I'll speak for all dino players because Devon and I had a very long talk about it. So Misk to 1 hurts because it's not only a protective piece, but it's an engine piece. So once you banish it, it's done. If it gets Ash, that's it. If you survive the next turn, you need to follow up. That's it. It's also a good follow up. If you were able to open more than 1 or keep 2 in the graveyard, if you banish 1 on 1 turn, you're banishing it on the second turn to follow up to go for Oviraptor. Now you don't have that anymore. So they needed it to choose just for consistency purposes to keep playing past turn 3. Whereas if you give them 3, they're just gonna start going exactly how they were back in like 2021 when they were just rampant. It doesn't matter what board you put up. They're just gonna drop a miscellaneous source, make sure it resolves.
Misk.
Yep. Put a whole bunch of fucking dinos up, break your board, and then build a board in main phase 2.
You're bringing back like PTSD.
For real. Have you read Misk? Have you read Misk?
PTSD. God damn.
There's a meme for a reason.
Real thing.
Shocked you with that one, huh?
Out of Desires, I think personally, I've never ran 3 pots in anything besides a Grand Maju, only because, of course, I just want to punch you one time in the face. I could see I could see pot going to 3. I don't think that's unfair. I don't think that's unbalanced. So the only thing I disagree here would be Misk.
Yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see that.
I agree. Pot of Desires is more of a consistency card anyway. Decks that ran a lot of 3-ofs, a Virtual World, Sword Soul, decks like that that can just play 3 of every single main deck card and afford to lose a couple of them to draw 2 cards. I can understand. Like there is just a lot of them at the time being played. Like every deck was just playing Desires or could play Desires, and if they could, they were. So I can understand when they started to hit Desires, but we're at a point in time where not that many decks are even playing it to begin with in the main deck. So yeah, bring the shit to 3. I'm fine with Desires at 3. I also have coming to 3 Striker Dragon because I feel as though Dragon Link needs a buff. They've been kind of bullied around because of Bestials, and now they have graveyard disruption like Shifter, Di-Fi, Macro all out there. My boy Devon is in shambles. We just need to help him out a little bit. So Striker Dragon to 3 just so that they're able to keep recycling through banishment. And I also have Fire Formation Tenki coming to 3 just because I know Bird Up is coming next format. It's really weird to have it at 2. It's a weird consistency card. I feel as though they're releasing more Beast Warriors with the new set and Cyberstorm Access, but I don't feel like Tenki is going to be the reason that any of them are broken. So fuck it, bring them back to 3 too.
So here's my take on that. I think that Dragon Link has been strong or represented for too long. I think
Really?
Yep. I think that it's like when was the last time somebody did not play Dragon Link?
I feel as though that's right now. I feel as though people aren't playing Dragon Link right
now. But prior to this.
I feel as though probably when Bestials started coming around. No, it's kind of like when Tier came out, Dragon Link was kind of iffy, and then Bestials came out and they tried playing Bestials in the Dragon Link, but then their Dragon engines were getting banished and disrupted, so it didn't help. So,
but
I think it was right before Despia came out was the last time.
But Dragon Link was still being played, and not that it was like tier 1 or tier 0 or anything like that, like it used to be. But it was still being played, and top players were still doing well with it.
I don't know. I feel as though if you give them back 3 Striker Dragon, they're fine. The only reason it sounds crazy is because you're not used to it at 3. But all 3 means is they can have a Link 1 to go into next turn.
Link 1
that can. Yeah, but you have to understand that it's a Link 1 that gets you a field spell. That the field spell is going to get used on turn 0, and then they're going to pop the field spell with the Rocket Tracer. So the field spell's already gone. It's just to get another body on board so they can make a synchro. So Striker Dragon turns 2 and 3 afterwards is just used to pop a card and add another card from your graveyard back to your hand, like the Rocket Tracer, like Recharger, so you can get a special from the graveyard. It's just once you use the one as combo, there's nothing else to keep going, and like there's no follow-up, which is why I agreed with Miss going to 2 is follow-up for the Dino players. Striker Dragon has no follow-up now. As soon as Striker's done, they have no Link 1s besides like what, Pisty? And that has to be like linked to, or the arrow has to be pointing to something else. So I don't know. I just feel Striker Dragon going to 3 is not going to hurt anybody.
I think Link 1s are too strong for the game.
I do agree with that statement, but I don't agree that every Link 1 is too strong for the game. Almirage isn't broken. Is Almirage broken? Almirage is a Link 1.
Yeah, I personally think that Almirage is broken depending on the format.
I've never, ever in my entire life seen Almirage break. The only time I've seen Almirage in meta comparison where I've seen an Almirage hit the field and I'm genuinely nervous was during base format. And that was because they were using it with a Sandgan to try to search Crusadia Armesia or whatever it was to go.
Based on the format.
That was because of Hulk. It was just to go to Hulk.
Yeah, based on
based on the format.
Based on the format.
Yeah, but like, bro, that's one format. You're basing it off one format. There's no way it's that broken. I've never.
And like in a year from now, it could be something where it's like, yo, we can come back to the same conversation, and it'd be like, yo, Almirage is busted.
It's a good card if Alistair ever comes back, Invoke stuff ever comes back. It's good in there. It's got a bunch of uses. I agree. Depends on the format.
Yeah, it depends on the format. Actually,
I don't know.
Dude.
I feel as though it's you gotta have a
you
strong
just don't
link
like
one for it
you
to
don't
be
like to agree with me. I get it. I understand.
no, because I
The
do agree.
minority,
I do agree that link ones are strong. Don't get me wrong. Like that's why
Yeah.
Meow Mew is banned. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of link ones are strong. But there are link ones in the game right now. So what are you saying? Ban Infinitrack Goliath? Is that what you're
Hell
telling
no.
me? Why? It's a link one. I play it at
Yeah,
3.
but it's it's in that.
But what? It's getting teched into other decks like Kashtira to help protect Riseheart.
I guess we'll see depending on the format, won't we?
Yeah. Let's wait on the format. All right. Let's go to my picks. You can get real spicy.
All right, so yeah, what do you have coming off, George?
First one, Max C.
This man says real spicy and then drops Max C to 3.
I have Colossus at 3. And then my personal favorite, Salamangre Gazelle.
All right, the only one I agree with is Gazelle. I just want that to be noted right now. Colossus the 3 is a problem. I had him at 1. I'll give Thunder Dragon players 1, but I will never give them
I'll
niggas
give them
3.
back all 3.
I will never give them back
Yeah,
3.
they're not
Fuck
going
them.
to.
They don't get 3 Colossus. So they can just slap 3 Colossus on me. Fuck that. I got a drop list for 3 now. Eat my ass. That's not happening.
I mean, they might.
I'll give you Gazelle though. I mean, I don't see Salah doing anything right now. I don't even know why Gazelle was really hit to 1 to begin with. I know it's a consistency card.
It's still to this day I don't understand.
I don't know why either. But they've been slowly taking off Salmon great cards, so I can agree with Gazelle to 3. I can agree with Gazelle to 3.
Maxi, I'm almost fine with that.
I've never activated Maxi, so as much as I want an opinion on that matter, I don't have an opinion because I've never activated it. I was never around in a format where it mattered, so I don't know how format warping it is. So I don't know how strong of it. Yeah, but I don't like Master Duel. Master Duel has a different ban list, and I don't compare Master Duel interactions to TCG interactions.
I agree with you, X. Like, I've never been in a format where I've ever played Maxi, but I've played what's that hand trap that increases your life?
Oh, Spooky Dogwood.
Whatever that shit is. Yes. Whatever you special summon and it increases, and it's just like one or two things: either you're gonna win or you're gonna lose. Like,
yeah, but that's a time card. That's like a game fee card. Maxi is like an every game card. Is anyone main decking Spooky Dogwood? I don't see that.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, I can agree with you on that. I guess they're two different cards, but I don't know. I think Maxi will slow down the format and let people play. So here's what I hate about the game. I had to sit there and wait for my opponent for 15 minutes for him to do like chain link 30. And then it's like, okay, is it my turn now? And then on my turn, you're also playing, and then I also have to
I get you. You want to take the Maxi challenge, or you want to pass your turn?
Right,
Maybe
exactly.
get 1 or 2 negates up instead of your whole fucking board.
Exactly.
I could. That's why I'm with you. Like I kind of see that. Yeah.
It's like, are you gonna let me play, or do you want to play? It's almost like one of those things where it's like, here it is. I'm pulling I'm dropping this just so I. Do you want me to keep on drawing, or do you want to play?
My only statement in this, and I will forever hold this statement until it comes off the list, is the only people who should have a say or a comment on the status of Maxi are players who have played in a format where Maxi was legal. Because I don't feel as though any player who's never been able to activate Maxi truly understands the power of it. So they're speaking on ignorance, which I can agree I would be because I've never activated it. But I do agree that some players who have played it are living in PTSD land, and they need to understand that if it would indeed warp a format the way they think it would.
No, I don't think it would anymore. You got what's the
just know you say that, Dylan, but That means I now get the Gigantic special out Max C and bounce it to my hand with Swap Frog.
That's totally fine in your.
So you're telling me Sprite deserves instant access to Max C?
Well, you'd play Droll and Lockbird. You'd play more Ash Blossom again.
So now we find ourselves just in a format where all these cards that were banned are put to one. We'll have to play all these outs to the possible. All right, he got the Max C. You know what I'm saying?
Well, there's so many ways around it now with spell and trap with spelled cards specifically. The one card that you're gonna be running it, so you could just play it and then banish it from your deck, and then the effect's gone for that turn. Yeah, cross out's a card now. Thank you. Forgot the name of it. I'm about to say you just
completely assumed that shit.
Cross out's a card. Ash Blossom still takes care of it. Droll and Lockbird.
I'm not saying that we don't have answers to it.
And those cards are meta cards. They're in the formats all the time, so it's really no different.
I'm not saying we don't have answers to it. I'm just saying it's another card that we now have to deck build around. Like, just because my opponent's going to open a maxi, I now have to tiptoe. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like you don't even have to open it for the psychology of that card to hit you as a player.
It'd be nice in the current format, would it not? It'd be pretty dope.
It would end a tier player's turn. I'll give you that, but I don't think that the consistency of every deck having a max C. I don't know, but once again, this is all speculation because I've never played max C, so I stand on my opinion on we're all ignorant and don't know what the fuck we're talking about.
You know. Oh, I played in a format at 1.
See, so like, how was it for you at 1?
Everyone played it.
That's what I'm saying.
But you had the Ash, though.
Hey, we did talk about drawing the out.
Draw the out 5 head.
It's got to be good.
And then that was it. That was everyone's 3. Yeah, I think that was everyone's 3.
Yeah, I guess
I do agree with Gazelle. I don't give a fuck about Gazelle. It's doing whatever. Who cares?
I think Gazelle's cool.
I'm really glad that
Solomon Grace was my first loss at a regional. So I always had a respect for that deck. But at the same point in time, they're not doing anything right now. And they're stuck being another tier. No offense. They're just stuck being another has-been tier 1.5, tier 2 deck in a format full of you're not playing out the graveyard anyway. So if you want to go ahead and link your Balinks into the banish zone, you go ahead and do that. When you normal summon your Gazelle and I chain shifter, just know that you want a Gazelle at 3.
That's true. I'm not even gonna lie.
I think we're coming close to the end of the time we have today.
This has been Semi-Limited Podcast. I'm the Lone Wolf.
I'm Player X.
I am George with Heart of the Podcast. Please follow us on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. I really appreciate you guys having me on, honestly.
No, it's all love, guys. You know what I'm saying? We love to have you guys on. We're going to have all of the members of Heart of the Podcast on from time to time. Our next guest next week will be Winner Kills. I don't know if you guys have listened or follow him. He's got a YouTube channel. He started doing TikToks as well. So shout out to him. He's another Buffalo player. We're going to be having him on next week. And then periodically we'll be getting more Heart of the Podcast members on here just to highlight them as well. So much love to them and go check them out as well. All right. And we are Semi-Limited. You guys enjoy the rest of your night.